Have you ever watched someone make bread or pizza? It starts as a flat, sticky, lifeless lump of dough. But after a little while, something magical seems to happen. It puffs up, growing bigger and bigger, full of air. How does it do that? Let's picture it. You're in the kitchen, ready to make the perfect loaf. You have your flour, your water, and salt. And then there's that tiny, mysterious packet. It's full of little sandy-looking grains. This is yeast. You mix everything together into a dense ball. You leave it in a warm spot, and you wait. When you come back, it's not a dense ball anymore. It's doubled in size. What secret force is pushing it up from the inside? The hidden problem that early bakers had to solve was how to turn heavy, dense grains into light, fluffy bread. A flat, hard cracker is easy to make. A soft loaf is a scientific puzzle. The challenge isn't just about mixing ingredients. It's about creating the perfect environment for a secret ingredient to come to life and do all the heavy lifting. The secret isn't a what, it's a who. The hero of this story is yeast, and it's very much alive. The real question is, how can something so small, a microscopic organism, have enough power to raise an entire loaf of bread? Yeast is a type of tiny, single-celled fungus. Think of it like a super small mushroom. When it's dry in that packet, it's basically asleep. It's in a state of suspended animation, just waiting for the right moment. That moment arrives when you add it to your dough. The warm water is like its morning alarm clock, and the flour is its breakfast. Specifically, yeast loves to eat sugar. And flour, which is made of starch, is packed with long chains of sugars. Once the yeast wakes up in its warm, sugary home, it starts doing what all living things do. It eats. Through a process called fermentation, the yeast breaks down the sugars in the flour to get energy. But just like us, when yeast processes its food, it creates waste products. It doesn't have lungs, but it does breathe out. And what it breathes out is a gas called carbon dioxide, the very same gas that we breathe out. This is the big secret. The dough rises because it's being slowly inflated by millions of microscopic living creatures releasing tiny bubbles of gas. Imagine your dough is like a giant circus tent with no air in it. And inside, you have millions of tiny little helpers, each with a tiny balloon. One by one, they start blowing up their balloons. Slowly but surely, the whole tent starts to rise and expand. That's exactly what's happening inside your dough. But why doesn't the gas just escape? Why does it get trapped? This is where the other main ingredient, flour, plays its part. Flour contains proteins that, when mixed with water and kneaded, link together to form a stretchy, elastic network. This network is called gluten. Think of gluten as a strong, stretchy web, or a net made of chewing gum that forms all throughout the dough. This gluten network is strong enough and elastic enough to trap all the little bubbles of carbon dioxide gas that the yeast produces. So when you're kneading the dough, you're not just mixing. You are building the strong, elastic structure that will hold all the air. The rising time, or proofing, is simply giving the yeast enough time to eat, breathe, and blow up all those tiny balloons within the gluten net. Then, when you put the bread in the hot oven, the heat makes the gas bubbles expand one last time before the gluten structure cooks and sets, locking all those airy pockets in place. So the next time you see a loaf of bread, remember what's really going on. It's not just a recipe. It's a team effort. It's a beautiful partnership between a baker and a billion tiny living organisms, all working together to perform a little bit of science. What seems like kitchen magic is actually biology and chemistry in action. You are creating a living, breathing ecosystem in a bowl. Every slice of fluffy bread is proof that an invisible world is all around us, full of powerful forces. The science isn't just in a laboratory with test tubes and complicated equipment. It's right here in our kitchens, in the food we eat every day. Baking bread isn't just following instructions, it's using science to create something wonderful.